cutting through the static to find what matters. This is signal over noise.
Imagine a Tuesday morning. A back-end engineer on your team opens a pull request. AI wrote most of it. The tests pass. The reviewer reads the diff, sees the green check marks, and clicks approve. 9 minutes end to end. That afternoon, the on-call gets paged. A subtle transaction ordering bug slipped through. When the team holds the retro, the original author cannot actually explain why the code was structured the way it was. Neither can the reviewer. This chart shows exactly what happens. As output volume rises, actual understanding drops. That red gap opening up between the two is comprehension debt. It is the exact difference between what a professional ships and what they actually understood before shipping it. This is a silent, systemic liability. It behaves exactly like financial debt. The interest compounds with every unverified action, every single sprint, until a major system breaks and the loan comes due. This erosion of understanding affects every modern knowledge profession. In the last 24 months, peer-reviewed research has tracked this exact pattern across software development, law, medicine, and design. The literature identifies 7 distinct behavioral shifts: automation bias, cognitive offloading, skill atrophy, verification collapse, identity disruption, prompt dependency, and the keystone failure mode, comprehension debt. You can measure this hidden inventory today using a cold review audit. Ask a developer to explain the logic of a recently merged pull request without opening their AI chat window. The gap between their fluent explanation with the chat open and their halting explanation without it is your current debt. Without intentionally measuring this cognitive gap, organizations silently allow their highly paid authors to become blind ratifiers, and they are ratifying without doing the reading. The reason this debt accumulates so quietly is a broken internal odometer. Users feel significantly faster at the exact moment their performance degrades. We know this from a 2025 randomized controlled trial by Metra, tracking experienced open-source developers. This chart maps their perception against reality. The developers expected AI tools to speed them by 20%, shown here in green, but the actual instruments measured a 19% slowdown in task completion. They were slower, but they still felt faster. The root cause of this inefficiency is a workflow called vibe coding, where a developer directs an AI conversationally rather than writing lines themselves. When a bug arises in code they don't fully understand, debugging drags on because there is no mental model of the system to search against. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the underlying psychology governing how we interact with these tools. A massive study of knowledge workers by Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon pinpointed the mechanism. This graph tracks that exact mechanism. As a user's trust in the AI rises sharply, their engagement in critical thinking plummets proportionally. The two variables move in exact opposite directions. This means trust but verify is an incoherent posture for AI. Trust actively suppresses verification. To protect the work, enterprise systems must be designed with skepticism as the default. The debt escapes the digital realm, causing physical damage. In medicine, a Polish study provided the first clinical evidence of AI-induced skill atrophy. This area chart highlights a measurable 6% drop in unassisted adenoma detection rates among experienced doctors after they relied on AI. That 6% drop represents real, preventable cancers that were missed when the doctors were working unassisted. The immediate defense against this atrophy is to mandate a 90-minute AI off session for high-stakes work every week. The goal is to preserve a baseline level of human competence that otherwise decays silently. In the legal profession, this manifests as verification collapse. This is a specific failure mode where a professional skips the checking step entirely simply because the AI's output reads as competent. Look at this real-world court sanction. Lawyers are facing fines for submitting completely fabricated case citations to federal judges. And it does not matter if they use ChatGPT or Claude. The output looks competent, the verification step is skipped, and the cases simply do not exist. Across medicine and law, the professional signature has quietly devolved from a guarantee of authorship to a blind ratification. This transfers a massive, unmitigated risk directly to the organization. Then there is the intergenerational risk, never skilling. At facilities like the MIT Media Lab, EEG studies show that students heavily using AI exhibit the weakest brain network connectivity. Juniors are bypassing the iterative friction that historically built senior-level judgment. The common thread across all age groups and professions is the perception-reality gap. Users overestimate the help they are getting, which allows cognitive debt to accumulate silently. For enterprise tech leaders, the stakes are about to scale. Fully autonomous agentic AI executes multi-step actions in the background. If reviewers already accept basic assistant output without full comprehension, an autonomous agent will exponentially amplify every single failure mode we've discussed. As we enter the agentic era, human verification can no longer be a casual code review afterthought. It must be rigorously engineered into your enterprise systems as a first-class architectural primitive. The compounding interest on comprehension debt is unavoidable. The loan always comes due at the first major production incident. You can start paying it down this Monday. First, run a cold review audit on your team to measure your baseline debt inventory. Second, schedule those 90-minute AI off sessions to protect your team's baseline skills. Finally, add a mandatory comprehension sign-off to all approval templates. Require the reviewer to explain in 2 sentences of their own words exactly what the code or document does. Managing comprehension debt is not the exciting part of building an AI stack, but aggressively mitigating it is the only way to ensure those cutting-edge systems actually survive their first quarter in production.
Cutting through the static.